Hi everyone, Sanbonani, you guys look great. So I'm Cebo. I build software at Machankura. So I think I wanna change the session from just me telling you about what I do to maybe you asking about Bitcoin or what I do and everything in between. But before I do that, let me just explain what it is that we've built at Machankura and why we've built it, right? So we have 3 apps at Machankura. We have the Machankura we know and love. That looks like that. I'm sure you guys have seen the app at some point. That's the website for it. So it's just your typical Bitcoin app that you can access using a smartphone, meaning an app, or a website, or even those old phones. That's why we have this thing where we say you dial *134, so it doesn't need to be a smartphone. Then we have the second app at Machankura, which is called 54052. So this was created simply because in South Africa, there's what we call regulations. So the same way when you open a bank account, you have to give your details, this is my name, this is where I live, this is my ID number. So the government can say, okay, we know where this money is coming from. So because of that, we had to build Machankura, but for South Africans. So hence, we have 54052. So give it a try. You don't need an app, but we do have the app available. You can also just go onto the website, 54052.co.za, or you can type this out on your phone to register, or you can even do it on WhatsApp. So you can fully transact with Bitcoin on WhatsApp. And finally, there's one more app that we are releasing soon, and it's called Digits. So what's the reason behind Digits? So if someone comes to one of you guys and says, where can I get Bitcoin? What are you gonna say? Where do you direct them? How can they get Bitcoin? Does anyone have an idea or an answer? I think that's what we're solving for. Because for someone who doesn't know or is new to Bitcoin, they don't know where to get it, right? So we've built the third app called Digits for vendors. So how this app works is it's similar to the way you go to a store and buy a voucher. So for anyone who needs Bitcoin now in your community, you can have this app. You simply generate a voucher for them. They give you the money, you send them the voucher, and then they get Bitcoin. So that's the third app. It completes the circle of we show people how to join Bitcoin, and we also give them the tools to use it. So just before I continue, on that note, does anyone have a Lightning wallet here? It can be Machankura, it could be anything. I just want to generate a voucher for them. You have one. Let's do a couple of vouchers quickly here. Let's see. So first voucher, I won't tell you the amount. The person's going to see when it happens. So I'm on my Digits app now, and I am generating a voucher, right? So all it takes is me entering the amount here, and then this is the voucher that you have. So who's the first one? Who's gonna? So I'm gonna pick here. You can either use the voucher code, or you can scan the QR code to redeem the voucher. Let's see if that went through. Yay, so you have gotten yourself some sets, good amount of sets. Let's do one more. Any of the Abazali, no app? No Umzali with an app. Okay, I'm generating one more voucher. Let me go here. So this is just to showcase that we now have ways to show other people that are new to Bitcoin how to get it. Okay, one more chance. Ngathi bazoskenela omunye umuntu yazi. Is it the light? Okay, while you sort that out, I'm gonna Or let's do this. There's a cool thing. You can just send it to yourself. Ne? So type in your number and hit send. All right, cool. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, before I continue, does anyone have questions about my career, what we're doing at Machankura, about Bitcoin, anything? This is a good time to ask, yes.
54052 is regulated, right?
Yes.
Why is it regulated? Why do you need to get permission from the government?
So that's a very good question. So regulation happens because governments want to know where your money goes, where it comes from, where you send it to. Now, it's two-sided because someone might say that's a good thing because now if we know where the money is coming from and where it's going, you can't use it for bad things, like giving it to criminals for use to do illegitimate stuff or for other reasons that the government gives us, right? On the other side, you might ask yourself, why does the government need to know how much I have or who I send it to or why I use it for that? That's the privacy side. But unfortunately in South Africa, if you're going to operate as a financial company, meaning anything that has to do with money, which proves Bitcoin, right, is money, you have to abide by regulations, which means you have to register a company and you have to go through certain things to say to the government, look guys, I'm going to make sure that my customers are people I know, and I'm going to make sure that if they start doing things that are not looking right, I'll report them. So that's why we have these things that are put in place by the government. So 54052 is essentially what an equivalent of a bank is. The bank also needs to know who you are, where you're sending the money. And you'll see as you grow up, one day a friend of yours in another country is going to say, I'm making dollars, let me send you a few. And then you'll be like, yes, I want Nike sneakers, please send me some dollars. And then you'll be surprised that they'll send the money, but what's going to happen is before you get it, the government's going to call you, or not necessarily the government, the bank is going to call you and say, we're seeing $100 that was sent to you, why was it sent to you? And then you have to explain, no, this is from someone I know, and they sent it for this reason. Then they allow you to use it. So these are some of the things that we don't feel are fair, but unfortunately, we have to abide by. So hence, we have 54052, which is regulated. Now, someone might ask themselves, if I don't want the government to track all my spending or my money or my Bitcoin or my savings, what else is there? And I think you guys are probably going to be the first to hear this. There is work in progress on Machankura to make it what's called, remind me of the term here, I know it just disappeared. Essentially, it becomes a wallet that you don't need to register for. It means, self-custody, sorry. You guys are graduating, remind me about these things. It'll become self-custody. What self-custody means is I control all my Bitcoin. You see how in a bank, you put in your money there, yes, but you don't control where your money goes. If the bank says, my fees are this much, I'm going to take them, you have no control. Or we're closing your account because we're not sure what you're doing, and you have no power over that. So self-custody means you own your Bitcoin, you own your keys. So if you want to move it somewhere, you can, but no one can actually take it from you. So yes, Machankura is going to be moving there. Can't give timelines at the moment. All right, moving on. What do? I build apps, I build software. And that's just one important part in the ecosystem of Bitcoin. So if you're interested in software, software is everything from the app you're using to the smart fridge you see to this smart board, but it has an integral part to play in Bitcoin because we need to be creative, and South Africans are very creative in how we solve problems, and software plays an important part in that. That's why we have these apps that allow you to send money to other countries, receive it from other countries, send to your friend instantly. that's where software engineers, software developers, software architects come in. But it's not only limited to that. There are other broader places and careers that you can go to that play a part in Bitcoin. So an example, if you walk outside the mall now and you ask someone, do you know about Bitcoin? Do you think they'll say yes?
No.
No, right? And software can't solve that. What are some of the things that can solve that? What do you guys think? Sorry? You have to educate them, right? That's one way. How do you educate them? Awareness, right? So that translates to, if you're saying you're looking for a career where you educate people and show people things, that's marketing, that's branding, that's communications, so whichever career you end up going in, just know that it has an impact in the Bitcoin ecosystem, and it probably helps in one way or another. I come in as a software dev, I build an app, but people need to know about it. People need to learn how it works. People need to see it advertised, because that's how you learn about banks, that's how you learn about the new sneaker that's coming out, and so on and so forth. So career-wise, yes, if you're into software, into engineering, definitely ask me anything you need, but also it's not only limited to that. At Machankura, we have a number of different people working within the team. There are people that are at the marketing side. There are people that are at the regulatory side. That's the part where we said we had to register with the government for compliance and all of this. So think about what you want to do in the future, and I can assure you that Bitcoin forms a part of that. Now, what do I say this? It's partly to say to the parents, they shouldn't worry that you guys are learning about Bitcoin. They should actually be excited. And this brings me to something I was hoping to get time to speak about, and I think I do. Do you guys know how, and this word is running away from me, but inflation works? Do you guys know how inflation works?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, if you were to explain to someone in a simple way what inflation is and why you have Bitcoin, what would you say? Do you have okay, I think I have a simple enough idea, and correct me if I'm wrong here. When you go buy bread today, how much is it where you buy it? 22 Rand. Okay, Tingbu's Abazali. I'm sure we are AMA 1K, you guys are AMA 2K. So I'll ask AMA 1K, when Bestengi Sinkwa 10, 15 years ago, was it close to 22 Rand? Not at all. So it's not just because on its own, Albany or Sasco or whatnot said, I'm going to raise the price of bread. No, it's because there are a number of things that factor in and cause things to get more and more expensive. I think one day you'll probably be shocked. You'll open a post somewhere and see like a Toyota Corolla 1996 being sold for 3,000 Rand. And you'll be like, a whole car, 3,000 Rand. But now, if you buy a car, it's hundreds and thousands of Rands, right? Part of that is inflation. Now, someone can say, well, I don't care about that. It's just how the world works. Not necessarily. You should care about it. Because if you are someone who is thinking about the future and says to themselves, I want to retire, and when I retire, I want to be able to have 30,000 a month, where when I'm not working, I have that money. Okay, and then you go to a financial advisor and they say, if you want to have 30,000 a month, how much do you need? And then they calculate and maybe the financial advisor says, you need 86 million by the time you retire so that you can take out 30,000 a month to spend without working, right? Now, that's a very large amount of money. And then if you ask that person and say, you guys are going to be old in what, 40, 50 years, 60, 70 years, I don't know. But if you ask that person, how much does that money need to be then? And then they say to you 400 million. They're not lying though. Because what the 1 million you have today is not going to be worth 1 million in 30 years' time. The equivalent will be, I can't estimate, but I'm guessing 10, 20, whatever, right? That's what inflation is. So where does Bitcoin come in? Bitcoin fights inflation. Bitcoin is what helps you to say, if I put away money in Bitcoin, I know it's not going to lose as much value as the rand or the other currency I use because it's not as impacted by it. So whenever someone talks about inflation and those things, remember that you need something in which its value will keep growing as expected, unlike fiat. Because fiat, the bread is 22 rand today. In 8 years, it'll be 50 rand for a loaf, right? So that's what we're doing with Bitcoin to say this is now something that we can actually fight the system with. And parents are going to ask you, what is this thing? Why ni busy ngale? It's because you guys are positioned to think far ahead more than us. We didn't have this sort of tool to help us in our future. So I like that you guys are aware of all of these things, and I hope you go out there and teach other people about it because it's critical. And one thing I'd like to do in your journey of stacking sats and preparing for the future, I think for all the graduates, myself and 54052 will be sending some sats. We'll speak to our organizers, Basapumile. So all of you guys are going to get some sats because I heard you guys don't spend much. You stack them, right? Yes. But Angtemi, you look like any chance you get, squatter. Okay.
We are hot class.
Yes, hodl.
You guys must be spenders also. Spending.
Yeah, once they have enough, I think definitely start spending, but hodl for now. Hodl as much as you can. And yes, I agree. I spend, but I spend because I get paid in Bitcoin. So I'm lucky, right? So I work, get paid in Bitcoin, and I can spend and hodl some. So as you guys grow and you see those sats turn into actual serious value, I hope that shows you that this is worth it. And it's, when we talk about Bitcoin, sometimes people will say, no, you guys are entirely against the system. Why don't you guys want people to save money in the bank? Or we're not against that. But we're saying compare the two. Look at the savings you put in the bank and how much they grow. Look at when you hodl sats and the value that they have. So yeah, I think that's, for me, are the biggest things I'm looking at: inflation, hodling, just teaching people about Bitcoin. And the way I contribute is through building software. So any questions, comments? Scaling up.
When you spoke about the new app, DigitNet, I heard you speaking about WhatsApp.
Okay, yeah.
So I wanted to know, for like, how does that work? Because I guess we're supposed to have like our private keys or not, so that we do not get hacked. How do we protect our Bitcoin?
Okay. Let me touch on the WhatsApp one first. So it doesn't necessarily apply to digits, but I'll get to the digits part. So with WhatsApp, both Machankura and 54052 have what we call, people call them channels. It doesn't matter what we call them, but there's different ways of using it. The first way of using these apps, or rather these wallets, is USSD. You guys know what USSD is? Yeah, it's that *134 on your phone, and then you reply, it comes back, you reply, it comes back. So using that, you can register, you can send sats, you can receive sats, meaning you don't need a smartphone. The second way to interact with these wallets is with WhatsApp. So we have a dedicated number that when you text, it's like you're chatting to the USSD. On WhatsApp, you say you can check your balance, you can check your Lightning address, you can pay with it, you can send someone details to receive, but essentially if you have WhatsApp, then you can register for Machankura or 54052. Then we have a third one, which is web. So if you go on the website, you can also transact there using these wallets. And then the fourth one is an app. So all of these ways are just different ways in which you interact with your app. So with, for example, banking apps, you typically have to use the app itself that's installed on your phone, or go to a branch, or call someone, but there's also limitations. So what we saw at Machankura was you need to be able to find any possible way to use your wallet. If you're in the rural and you don't have a smartphone or whatever the case is, you only have WhatsApp, that should not limit you in using your apps. Then you spoke about keys. So as I spoke earlier, I said there's self-custody, right? Which is when you have your own keys and you are fully in control. So there's wallets such as Phoenix that do that. But with wallets such as Machankura and 54052, you don't own your keys because the key discussion is a bit complicated. If someone loses their key and they're new to Bitcoin, how do they recover them? That's a big talking point because you either have to remember those 12 words that we give you, or it can get complicated for other people. So we simplify it by handling your keys. But as you grow and understand more about Bitcoin, you'll understand that you definitely need self-custody. So keep some Bitcoin in the wallet that you use regularly, but also keep some in a wallet in which you have all the keys in. It's like saying, keep some money in your bank, but also keep some in a safe type of thing, right? Because the bank can just close down. Yeah, and then digits is simply a tool to allow anyone in your community to sell Bitcoin to people. If someone has never used Bitcoin and you are a digits vendor, so you downloaded the app, you registered, and you loaded sats, how digits work is, I come to you as Cebo and say, yo, as this month or today, I only have 20 Rand, but I want to stack up. And then I give you the 20 Rand, and then I said, can I have sats? You go into your digit app, you generate a voucher for 20 Rand, you get a commission from that, and then I get the voucher and I load Bitcoin. See, now I have an easy way to buy Bitcoin. If I have an extra 10 Rand, I come to you. An extra 50 Rand, I come to you.
So I get paid for generating the voucher?
100%. So you get commission from the Digits app as you generate vouchers and sell them to people.
You get commission in Bitcoin?
Yes. Someone else had a question? Yeah?
So since you say you create the app, before you create the app, you have to go to the government, ask for permission in order for everyone to use your app?
Yes and no. So whenever you want to create something, don't first ask for permission. Build it and see how people react to it. Then deal with the other stuff that comes after. Because if you do it the other way around, you'll never get things done. There'll always be, but you need to have this document, you need to have done this, you need to, and you won't build whatever you want to build. So if you have something in mind, create it, make it, put it out there, see what people want, and then someone's going to come and say, hey, you need to have these and these things for you to continue using this. And that's perfectly fine. Then you start dealing with the government. But don't let the red tape be the reason you don't start something. Whenever you have an idea, start it. You'll deal with regulation later. Unless it's an illegal thing, then no, don't do that.
So before the government knows about that app you have created, which means it is illegal?
Not really. The government didn't know about Bitcoin, right? And they knew about it and they said, nah, this thing isn't. And then it became bigger and they were like, okay, now we need to step in. So it wasn't illegal before. They just wanted to term it illegal because now it's legal. So to answer your question, it doesn't necessarily mean it's illegal just because the government doesn't know about it or because they don't want it. Because understand, the government is made up of people just like you and I. And sometimes they need convincing to see the value in something. So if people in the government that are responsible for finance don't understand what Bitcoin is, they'll push back well and say, no, what's this thing of yours? People are scamming with it, right? And that's their responsibility. But now our responsibility is to say, sit down with me. Let me show you what this thing is, how it works, and what the benefits are. Then they start opening up and saying, oh, okay, then if this is the case, this is what we're going to put in place so that other people can enjoy this thing. Cool. Any other questions? Parents, nothing? I believe currently the commission is about 5% from every sale you make, yeah. But in the future, we might increase that to 7%. So yeah, that's the commission on digits. And then to close off, because I think I'm out of time. To close off, you guys have done amazing, and don't stop in the journey, and find creative ways, because as I'm a 2K, there are so many things that we don't understand in your daily lives, in your interactions with people, how you spend at school, how you spend things at stores. So you guys can give us insight, and we can then build things to make your lives easier. So always be open-minded, and if you have ideas, talk to us or talk at the center, discuss it. The ideas will reach us. You see, we're here today. And if it's a cool idea, you'll see it on an app. So don't think your ideas are not worth anything. No, you guys are very creative. Hence we're here today. And congrats, by the way. Thanks, everyone.